Next up, we have Saral Shrestha, who is a UConn graduate with a bachelor's in chemical engineering. He is 24 years old, and he's here today because he wants to discuss his own experience, and how he dealt with mental health issues. Go ahead, Saral.
Thank you, Zenith. First, I just want to thank everyone in Leo Club for having me as a guest speaker, and thank you to everyone who was in this event. I won't talk for too long, but I just wanted to share my own experience with mental health linked with academics. So as people already mentioned, mental health discussions are extremely rare in the Nepali community, and I personally haven't discussed much with my family. And even back in high school, there were, I don't remember there being too much discussion with mental health in any of my curriculum either. I hope that's changed by now, but that was my experience. So with that said, I really didn't have much ideas about how to deal with anxieties or my fears. And this wasn't too much of an issue in high school because the curriculum was pretty easy and I did fairly well. But of course, college was a lot harder. And the first big hurdle was organic chemistry 2 for me, which was a requirement for my major. Material was extremely difficult, it's very convoluted, and I failed my first exam there. That was my first exam that I've ever failed. And the next exams didn't really go much better. And then this just built up, and then this ingrained fear of failure just started to build up in me. And my thought process was, if I fail the next exams, I might fail the class, my GPA is going to drop, and then I might not be able to graduate. And then this just spiraled. And then every time I walked to Orgo, this thought process would get in my head. And when I was sitting in class and the professor said something I didn't understand, my body just started to shake. And this happened for a few weeks. So one day when I was getting ready to go to class, I just decided to not go. I just decided to sit down and just think, what is the absolute worst thing that could happen to me in this class? So it was just fail the remainder of my exams. I failed the class. My GPA drops pretty hard, and I have to retake the class. And this all sounds pretty bad, but when I just sat down and thought, I mean, it really wasn't the end of the world. I mean, if I have to retake the class, my GPA would just average the 2 grades that I got. And when I just put it down and I was super logical about it like that, while it was a pretty bad result, it really wasn't a life or death situation. And with that said, it really wasn't worth compromising my mental health and my body over that. So I went to class with that thought process in mind, thinking I would have to retake it. And then I think that really helped get my mind to be clear. So I did better in the last 2 exams, and I didn't get anything in the class, but I did better than I thought, and I didn't have to retake the class. So with that said, I just want to say this for especially the younger kids who are listening. Failing is okay. I mean, it's obviously not ideal, and you don't want to do it, but if it does happen, it really isn't the end of the world. Just sit down, take a deep breath, write down all the things that could happen. And if when you do that, you realize, while it is bad, it really is not the absolute end, and things will be okay. I mean, they won't be ideal, but they'll be fine. Thank you. That's all I had to say.
Thank you, Saral, for sharing your experience. I think that your unique experience actually speaks to a common experience that many students feel, Nepali youth feel, and is that there's definitely an adjustment period between high school and college that is especially challenging for immigrant students, because most Nepali youth are immigrant students. Most of them are first-generation college students in the United States. And so on top of the pressure that a normal student feels with just getting adjusted to college, we have an additional pressure of being the first person to go to college, the first person to do this, the first person to go to accredited university. And so that puts a lot of extra pressure that normal students may not have. And so I think a lot of immigrant parents, they have this mindset that I brought you to the US, my job is done, the rest is on you. But it's a lot harder than that. And so you have to take into account all the stress that students feel: academic stress, social stress, the adjustment of being an immigrant, political stress with everything going on. And so I'm really glad that you touched on that.